There's some breaking news. The Toronto Blue Jays have made a shocking move. In a wild turn of events, the Jays have made a move surrounding a fan favorite. We're going to break down exactly who it is and discuss what this means going forward, as this has serious implications on moves to come for the Jays in the coming weeks. Stay tuned for all that in this episode, folks. Before we get into it, if you're part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Jays content. Your guys' support has been amazing. And if you're a part of the 70% or so who aren't subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And ladies and gentlemen, this is not the video I was expecting to make this afternoon. Of course, it is one of the rare Jays off days, and in the middle of the afternoon, the Jays dropped a bit of a bombshell report here, and something that I did not expect to happen this soon, and that is Davis Schneider. He has been sent down to AAA Buffalo. And obviously, Davis Schneider, you think back to 2023, he still is a fan favorite, but 2023, he was fantastic, had a historic start to his MLB season, his MLB career, and then just a couple years later, after struggling yet last year throughout the year, he finally gets demoted to AAA Buffalo this year. Now, there's a ton of things to go over with this move. Of course, Davis Schneider, there was times where he was a huge part, again, of the 2023 run. He helped them get to the playoffs. Last year, he struggled mightily in over 100 games played, and he was not very good. And then coming into this year in spring training, he had a very good spring training. I believe he had an OPS above 1,000 there. But the big question mark coming in was, A, how much playing time was Davis Schneider going to get? How much leash did he have? And there were some serious questions about Davis Schneider's ability to make the team out of camp in spring training. Keegan discussed it on the video we had prior to the season starting. He went out, he had a good spring, and he made the team. But since joining the team, he hasn't really done anything for the Toronto Blue Jays this year. And we have seen a clear shift in focus for Ross Atkins in the front office and management, and John Schneider and Dave Popkins, everyone, about winning now. The Jays need to win this season. They are going all in to win this season. Of course, they currently stand at 11-3, second in the AL East. And Davis Schneider was just clearly the odd man out here. There were very little scenarios where the Jays were even tempted to use Davis Schneider. Usually, of course, his kind of call to action was hitting off left-handed pitchers, hitting home runs, hitting for power. He was doing none of that this year. He's batting 0.067, good for a 67 batting average, which is horrific. And anytime a lefty would come in, A, Davis Schneider wouldn't really, at this point, put any fear into the opposing manager's eyes, but B, they would just either rather use Alan Rodin, keep him in against the lefties, or use Miles Straw, who's had a fantastic season and has been crushing lefties thus far this year. You can see this here from Keegan Matheson. When Schneider is at his best, he's such a solid fit for this roster as a lefty masher who can slide between left field and second base. He's still such a solid fit. He just needs to mash lefties. Some time in AAA feels valuable at this point, and that's what it comes down to. Like I just mentioned, his value is, of course, his positional versatility, but also being able to mash lefties. And the unfortunate part is, when lefties come up, we've seen as recent as yesterday them keep John Schneider keep Alan Rodin in the game against lefties, or you're pinch hitting Miles Straw. There is really no scenario here where John Schneider would think to himself, okay, Davis Schneider is the better option. Miles Straw has hit better than Davis Schneider this year. Alan Rodin, they want him to turn into an everyday big leaguer who can hit against lefties, hit against righties, do whatever. And that's something that they have seen from him. And Alan Rodin's completely outperformed Davis Schneider. And I'm not saying they're necessarily competing, for each other's spot, because Alan Rodin's primarily an outfielder, well, strictly an outfielder, at least at the big league level. But it is very, very clear what, that Davis Schneider's spot on this roster has been, just altered by A, Alan Rodin, and most importantly, B, his lack of production and Miles Straw's surge in production. You can see this here from Thomas Hall. Hopefully confident AAA reps will get Davis Schneider back on track. And that's the biggest thing with Schneider, right? He needed to go down to AAA. He's going to be getting everyday at-bats. He was not playing a lot this year. And of course, if you don't play a lot and you're already in a slump, it's going to be very difficult to get out of that slump by not playing any games at the major league level. Now, he'll be able to go down to AAA with all the boys, the Buffalo boys. Of course, Ernie Clement stayed up. Will Wagner is staying up as well with the team. He struggled a little bit, but he has at least shown some sort of ability at the, of course, major league level and minor league level. And Davis Schneider is probably going to go down, and he's probably going to absolutely mash in AAA. I wouldn't be surprised if he puts up an above 1,000 OPS, all these different things, because he mashed at the AAA level. And he just needs to get his confidence back, so that when you call him back up, you can feel confident using him against left-handed starting pitchers, against left-handed, bullpen guys. Because at this point, even if the other team was starting a left-handed pitcher, the Jays would probably still rather run Miles Straw out there with, whoever else you want to use, whether that be Alan Rodin, somebody else. Like, they are not using Davis Schneider in basically any situations. They'd probably rather throw Will Wagner out there against the lefty, just because of the fact that he simply hasn't produced this year. He has not been good. He has struggled mightily, and it's not just this year. there's a big enough sample size against left-handed pitching dating back to last year, and I covered it on the channel a few videos ago. He just hasn't been good enough. And that's ultimately what it comes down to, unfortunately. Looking at his stats here, and of course last year he finished in over 100 games. Davis Schneider last year played in 135 games and finished with a 191 batting average for good for a 77 OPS plus. So of course, well below league average, 23% below league average, and a 625 OPS. This season, of course, a 400 OPS, and most of that was boosted by 5 walks. He has 1 hit in 15 at-bats and 21 plate appearances. Of course, his 5 walks and then his 1 hit. He has struggled mightily this season, and most of that has been against left-handed pitching. So it comes to a point where he can hit lefties. You date back to last season, he wasn't able to hit lefties either. And of course, against righties, you have better options, whether that's Will Wagner, whether that's Alan Rodin, whether that's literally anybody else. Miles Straw at this point, Nathan Lucas, all these different guys. Addison Barger even. So it's interesting that they decided to, of course, send down Davis Schneider. Now, what that means going forward is what they're going to do with Addison Barger. Now, once Nathan Lucas returns, there is a chance that, Addison Barger gets sent back down. That's kind of the, the biggest storyline here is we assume that Barger is going to be sent down soon when Nathan Lucas returns. However, there is a world where now that Davis Schneider is sent down, maybe they're trying to keep Addison Barger up and they want to do a bunch of rotations, maybe through the Buffalo guys, because there are guys down in AAA, Jonathan Clase most notably, who can probably take some reps away from Nathan Lucas. Now, of course, Lucas is joining them against the Seattle Mariners tomorrow night. But whether or not they keep Addison Barger around, this is definitely a step in the right direction for opening up a spot for that. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. We'll keep you up to date with that. So let me know down below what your thoughts are. You can see here from Avery as well. I'm pretty confident this is going to result in a good thing. Find it in Buffalo and back to the bigs to hit against left-handed pitchers. They still need a left-handed masher. Now, whether they go out and get a guy like JD Martinez in free agency, whether they try to find it internally with Davis Schneider, whether they make a trade, they still are missing a left-handed masher. They, of course, acquired Andres Jimenez. Anthony Santander does mash lefties, but you need somebody else because at this juncture, again, Miles Straw, he's not going to be a masher, but he's been playing very well. You need to find somebody else. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on this move. Surprising that it happened this early. Not surprising in general that, it happened. I think it was going to happen at some period of time, but nonetheless, fairly surprising that it happened at this juncture. Now, something else I want to bring up here. Baseball Prospectus, their projections and their system currently projects the Jays to win the AL East with a 64.1% chance to make the playoffs, right? 0.4 wins above the Yankees. Just puts into perspective how good the Jays' start has been to the season. This has been the toughest month of the year. April and then September, the start of the season, the end of the season are the 2 toughest months of the year for the Jays, and they are 11-8. They are absolutely rolling, and it goes to show them setting down Davis Schneider. They have no time to not necessarily mess around, but with this lineup, they're trying to win now. They're trying to take care of business, and that starts with continuing to put out the best roster possible. So that'll wrap it up. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. A ton of new reports are dropping. Things are getting crazy. We'll keep you up to date with all the latest news. Thank you guys for watching.